The 2025 NFL season is in the books, which means we look onward to the off season. On today's show, we're going to talk about biggest positions of needs and some dream free agent targets for Joe Schoen and John Harbaugh. Before we do that, though, I want to remind you here, we put out free videos every single day on your New York Giants. The season may be over, but the content does not stop. We actually put it into overdrive for the offseason. So subscribe and turn those notifications on. This is New York Giants Now by Chat Sports, and I am your host, Marshall Green. Dream free agent targets for Big Blue at the biggest positions of need. That's today's show. Let's go ahead and dive into it as NFL free agency is right around the corner. This league, man, the Super Bowl just wraps up, and 27 days from now, we're going to be seeing new players added to this football team. Free agency will kick off on March 9th. It'll be here before you know it. I can already hear people in the comment section, Marshall, what free agents are we going to sign with the limited cap money we have? Well, if you're subscribed to this channel, you know that we did this video where we showed you how the New York Giants can get to almost $75 million in cap space with some very easy maneuvering. So go check that out, because I'm not wasting any more time with the salary cap dorks out there. Let's start with the biggest positions of need for Big Blue. I think defensive tackle remains maybe number one, but very close to the top of this list. You're hoping Dexter Lawrence takes a step next year. You're looking at Darius Alexander, a top 70 pick, hoping he takes a step in year two, but the run defense has to be fixed. And I believe the interior defensive line is the main reason that the run defense has been bad over the last handful of seasons. I also think the inside linebacker position needs a major boost as well. Those two things go hand in hand. The Giants didn't really have anyone on the team last year when it comes to the second and third levels of the defense that could make plays all over the football field. You add another run-stopping defensive tackle with a go-getter that can play sideline to sideline at the inside linebacker spot, you might be cooking with some gas on defense. You also have to address the right tackle position. What are you going to do with the Jermaine Eluemunor? Do you trust Marcus Bowe to be in that spot? We just saw Will Campbell essentially lose the Super Bowl for the New England Patriots at the left tackle spot. You have a young quarterback. Don't mess around with the offensive line. Make sure you got someone at right tackle and figure out what the plan is for Greg Van Roten as well. 35 plus years old is GVR. Still played at a good level last year. Does he want to play football again? That's the first question. And the second question you have to ask yourself is there an upgrade the Giants can make at that position? And then I just wanted to lump in all of the offensive skill position players into one. They need more playmakers on offense, whether that be a receiver, whether that be a tight end. I'm going to focus on receivers in this video, but if the Giants want to make a priority, add another tight end alongside Theo Johnson, I won't have a problem with that. Let's start with defensive tackles. You go and look at the free agency crop like I have done over the last couple of days, and there's not really any headliners at this position. There's no Milton Williams like there was last year, but there are a couple diamonds in the rough and people that do things on a football field that the Giants need more of from their players. You look at the top 10 defensive tackles as we inch closer and closer to free agency. DJ Reader from the Detroit Lions, Calais Campbell. It's incredible that he is still in the National Football League. David Onyemata, the interior defensive lineman from the Falcons. Daquan Jones of the Bills. John Franklin Myers of the Broncos. More of a pass-rushing defensive tackle as he's just 288 pounds. Sebastian Joseph Day of the Tennessee Titans. What is his relationship like with Denard Wilson? Sheldon Rankins is getting up there in age. Deshaun Hand. And then Levi Onwuzurike of the Detroit Lions. And then Shelby Harris of the Cleveland Browns. Nobody out here that I'm trying to get a major bag to, but if I had to talk about my number one defensive tackle free agent, it would be David Onyemata, the interior defensive lineman who last played for the Atlanta Falcons. 6'4", 310 pounds, 33 years old, so a little bit older than I would like, but the Giants need impact players at this spot right now. In Spotrac, they have his contract projection at 2 years and $17.1 million. I believe he's the best run-stopping run-stuffing defensive tackle in all of free agency. This is what he's been known for through the couple of stops in his NFL career in the NFC South with the New Orleans Saints. He was able to stop the run, and he did so extremely well last year for the Atlanta Falcons. In 2 of the last 3 years, he's had a run defense grade of 74.2 and then 77.1. You can see in prior stops in his career with the Saints, 77, 75.5, 73.9, and 75.0. And you can see he has 229 stops in his career on defense, a tackle that is categorized as a negative play for the offense. The Giants need people that can engage with blocks, get off blocks, and make plays near or at the line of scrimmage. And Onyemata, he can do so. If you want to go a little bit of a cheaper route and maybe a little bit younger with some familiarity as well, what about Sebastian Joseph Day of the Tennessee Titans? 30 years old, 6'4", 310 pounds. Has that relationship with Denard Wilson. Spent the last 2 years with the Tennessee Titans. Wilson has been the DC the last 2 years. And you would think if Wilson is someone that, like Joseph Day as a player, he could be pounding the table to bring him to the New York Football Giants. Like we talked about with Onyemata, Joseph Day is a good run stopper as well. In 2024, he had a run defense grade of 77.7, one of the highest in the National Football League. When he was with LA in 2020, he was at 72.4, a really good number as well. Nearly 200 defensive stops in his career as well. Nobody you're going to give 5 years and $100 million for, but you can piece together a better defensive tackle room, especially when it comes to some veterans on some lower years and lower annual value as well. I want to attack the interior defensive line in the draft as well. You're hoping the picks that you made there last year, Darius Alexander can give you an impact. I don't know if he's ever going to be a great run stopper. He can get after the passer, but continue to piece that room together brick by brick. I'd be happy with either of Sebastian Day or with Onyemata at the defensive tackle spot. Maybe my number one dream free agent target, though, comes at inside linebacker, and that is Devin Lloyd out of Utah. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you know that I was in love with this prospect. I believe that was back in the 2022 NFL draft. I kind of compared him to Micah Parsons Light, where he could play in the box, but he's also, or was, a really good pass rusher at Utah. Hasn't done that as much with the Jags, but what he does is play sideline to sideline, and he does not miss games, and that is why he's expected to get anywhere from 3 years to $60 million in free agency. 81 tackles this year, 113 last year, 127 the year before, and 115 in his rookie year. 13 tackles for loss over the last 2 years. He can drop back into coverage as well. He's a good athlete. He's a leader. He's someone Jacksonville does not want to lose, but they are really dealing with a contract issue with him. Are they going to be able to meet his wants and his needs? Devin Lloyd would immediately become the best linebacker on your team, and you could argue maybe the best defensive player on your team that does not play on the defensive line. This team needs playmakers on defense. He does that. He can cover. He can get after the quarterback. He could be a sideline-to-sideline tackling demon. Devin Lloyd, although it would cost a lot of money, and there's going to be a lot of teams out there that want Devin Lloyd, he would be a huge addition for this team, and he might be my number one dream free agent target. It's a good inside linebacker crop, though, in free agency, and I expect the Giants to attack this position. I think they're going to cut Bobby Okereke, save $9 million. I also think that they are going to have to make a tough decision on Micah McFadden. Do they try to bring him back in NFL free agency? What does his deal look like after he just missed an entire season? Some other linebackers you can look at. Devin Bush, he's had a resurgence of a career with Cleveland the last 2 years. Nakobe Dean is a highly ranked player. I think he's a little small and not the best type of inside linebacker for the Giants. Leo Chanel would be someone I'm really interested in. And if you want to take a flyer on someone that was good at the beginning part of his career, not so much the latter part of his rookie deal, what about Quay Walker of the Green Bay Packers? He's going to be a free agent as well. I love the athleticism that he brings to that position. We got a couple more free agent targets as well as positions of need to talk about for the Giants, but you got to get hooked up with today's sponsor, GLD. They've got an awesome deal going on right now. When you go to GLD.com and you use that promo code CHAT, you're going to get 50% off your order. I'll make sure all of that information is clickable down in the comments and description. Let's be real. Buying men's jewelry, it used to be a nightmare. It's no longer that, though, with GLD. A spot maybe where you can find what you're looking for. It can be hard. You want something meaningful that wouldn't fall apart, low-quality junk that snapped after a week, or it was insanely overpriced. That's why I rock with GLD, and you can too, with 50% off when you use promo code CHAT. You're getting quality pieces that are built to last without breaking the bank, and unlike a lot of other companies, GLD only uses real gold. None of that cheap stuff. I love that every single stone is meticulously hand set, and every single piece is guaranteed for life. It's literally built to last the rest of your life. Shout out to GLD. They hooked me up with this awesome chain and this beautiful New York Knicks pendant. If you're rocking with the Knicks or you're a Giants fan, which you probably are watching today's video, you're in luck because GLD has official collabs with the NFL, NBA, WNBA, MLB, NCAA, MLS, and even DC Comics. Work hard and change the game. Right now, GLD is making shopping easy for men's jewelry. For a limited time, new customers get an insane deal. Use code CHAT to get 50% off at GLD.com. That's 50% off with the code CHAT at GLD.com. After your purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Let's move on to the right tackle spot. And I think the first thing you have to talk about is what are the Giants going to do with Jermaine Eluemunor? The 31-year-old right tackle played pretty damn good football for Big Blue last year. I think he's a good right tackle. I wouldn't go as far as to say a great right tackle, but he is more than capable of being a starter, and I don't mind keeping the continuity rolling for the Giants. He's expected to get 2 years and $17.3 million according to Spotrac. And I'll be honest, if that's all it takes, that's a no-brainer for me. There are some big names in free agency at the right tackle spot. If the Giants want to take a swing, someone like Braden Smith, Jonah Williams continues to have a good career, Rob Havenstein of the Rams, Trey Pipkins of the Los Angeles Chargers. Like, do you take a chance on some of those guys? Or do you bring back somebody like Jermaine Eluemunor, who you already have a pretty good feeling about who he is as a player in this league? You also got to talk about the right tackle spot, right guard spot with Greg Van Roten. He's going to be a free agent for the New York Football Giants. And do they look to bring him back on a contract? Expected to get 1 year and $5 million in free agency is Greg Van Roten. And like we talked about with Eluemunor, I like the idea of keeping some continuity with that front five. The concern with him compared to Eluemunor is 31 and he's 35, and you would have to think that the play of GVR could fall off at some point. There's some big-name guards in free agency you could look to roll with. Isaac Seumalo of the Steelers, Joe Bitonio of the Cleveland Browns, who your offensive line coach comes from. David Edwards is probably the best guard in free agency from the Bills, but he's more so known as a left guard. Kevin Zeitler, still can't believe what happened with him. And then Dalton Reisner of the Cincinnati Bengals. So I wouldn't mind bringing back Greg Van Roten. I'm cool with him being the starter, but if you're going to bring him back, you got to also make it a priority to attack right guard in the NFL draft. To the receiver spot and offensive playmaker portion of today's show, Alec Pierce would be a dream free agent target for the Giants. 6'3", 211 pounds, 25 years old, and a wide receiver that lives down the field. All he does is take the top off the defense. The Giants have to continue to find ways to be more explosive, and if you could have a 1-2 punch of Malik Nabers and Alec Pierce, I think that's a beautiful combination, and the yin and the yang, I think it matches up great. 2 years in a row, Alec Pierce has had a yards per catch higher than 21 yards. This year, 21.3. Last year, 22.3. Not the most volume when it comes to overall receptions. Hasn't topped out more than 50 catches in a year, but 47 catches for 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns. Anytime he's targeted, anytime he makes a catch, it's an explosive play. And we know when you have one explosive play on a drive, it ups the likelihood that you're going to put points on the board in a major way. Alec Pierce is kind of like the anti-Wan'Dale Robinson, who Wan'Dale has a lot of catches for minimal yard. I don't want to say minimal, but low yards per catch with a high volume of catches, whereas Pierce is someone that doesn't need to rock all that often. He's able to rack up yards Like, really, nobody else in this league can. Look, I want to bring Wan'Dale Robinson back. But to be honest with you, 4 years and $70 million is a lot of money. That's wide receiver 2 money. And do the Giants want Wan'Dale Robinson to be their wide receiver 2? I'd like to keep him. I think he's earned that contract. I like having him as a Giant, but I do think there is a world that he could leave. I like for him to stay. That contract is pretty steep for me. Some other wide receivers in free agency, George Pickens. I don't think the Giants are interested in him, and I don't think they're going to offer him $30 million, which it'll probably take to get it done. Mike Evans and Deebo Samuel, I think those ships have sailed. Juwan Jennings, not the biggest fan of his. If I'm looking to take another stab at a receiver, though, Romeo Doubs is at the top of my list. Outside wide receiver, big-bodied, strong at the catch point, can make plays after the catch, true ex-wide receiver. I think he's a good compliment to Malik Nabers as well. Still a young guy who I think the best days are in front of him. Doubs is someone, if you miss out on Alec Pierce, that I would really be interested in. We went over about 25, 30 players on today's show. I want you to get down in the comment section and name a free agent you want the Giants to sign. Devin Lloyd, he is number 1 on my list. Make sure you guys are following me on social media. You can find me over on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_, and you can find me over on Instagram there as well. I'm posting about the Giants. I'm tweeting about the Giants all the time. So give me a follow. Going to be a cool offseason for Big Blue, and I don't want any of you to miss a thing. Until next time, let's go Giants.